Good morning, afternoon, and evening. Welcome back to the Liberal Artist Podcast, Spooky Season Edition. I'm your host, Bodio Papula. With me, I have Kaylie Horowitz.
Roro.
And Andy Gibson.
Like zoinks, man! The horror's persisting, but so am I.
You know, guys, the best part of
waking up is Folgers in your cup.
That's it. That's the joke. No, the best part of having a growing, dare I say, business, a growing podcast.
Whoa.
Is as your numbers go up, you know, you feel good, you put something out in the world, and people start to vibe with it, people start to gel with it. And we're steadily increasing. So listeners, thank you, man.
Stonks, number go up.
It only goes up.
But the best part are the insane emails you get sometimes.
Fuck yeah. Give it to us.
Yes.
Redefeat Trump to activists. F-bombs cannot hurt Trump.
Okay.
Contact David Lytle. Not going to read that phone number. The time and energies of the anti-Trump forces online are largely wasted and have little to do with defeating Trump. Wailed Redefeat Trump founder David Lytle on Tuesday. Thousands of hours lobbing F-bombs at Trump on social media. Somebody's trying to get us on their anti-Trump campaign.
Okay.
Number one, you don't have to ask us, right?
No.
It's pretty obvious.
I feel like this email was specifically targeted at us for one key word in the name of our show.
Yeah. Who would have guessed?
Podcast. Wait.
Podcast.
The. Do you have any other spammy emails, Bo?
Not that I'm willing to read on air.
Okay.
There's a lot about increase your subscriber base, pay me for money. And
I thought you were about to say, like, increase your, like, sexual powers, like you were getting, like, spam from, like, rhinopills.net or something.
No.
Actually, this is a very important question. My
so afraid of what you're about to
litmus
ask.
test, like, checking. You know, like, when you test water for lead, you just stick a strip in there and you go, what things are coming up? This is my litmus test for that.
Okay.
Do y'all still get any form, because I know we all just try to ad block the shit out of any website we possibly can at this point, because it's completely overwhelming, even more so than it was in 2009. Mm-hmm. How many of your side banner ads are still about singles in your area looking for someone just like
Kaylie,
you?
what websites are you going to?
Those just showed up everywhere, Bo. It
I
didn't
don't
matter
know if
what
they
website
do.
you were on.
Nope.
That's one of the running jokes, along with the wire me $10,000 I am a prince scam. Those are the two
Kaylie is telling us about her
running.
travels on porn sites.
I'm not. I'll tell you how much I am not on a porn site is when the fucking Anka meme to Camel by Camel was going around.
Hachi machi.
Oh boy.
I checked Twitter on like not even in the like saucy side of Twitter, like before Elon ruined it mode. Where it's just before it's now just become porn bots.
Sure.
Because I go to look for stuff like just on my feed and I've shown that against my will. But pre that, I went there first before Ian looked me dead in the eyes and he went, Kaylie, I want you to think about, like, you know what this is. Think about literally any other place that you could go on the internet to find that. And I went, oh shit, you're right.
Kaylie, walk us through what we're doing today.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? It's spooky time, we're here now.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be like slightly sinister leading into it, like, oh,
go for it, man.
It's Halloweeny. Ooh,
put a little bass in there. See how that works.
It's Ruby Roo.
Yeah.
Because, you know, it is October. We have many a tradition that happens this month, whether that is going on a train ride to watch some leaves change colors, picking apples, drinking cider, having a man versus machine cider contest to see which makes the better cider.
Sure.
It's a good My Little Pony episode. Don't quote me on that. What?
Okay.
I have no basis of judgment, so of course I must trust
I
you.
have Yep. We'll keep going.
I have no basis of judgment. Bo's just here to judge.
We'll unpack that later at a different episode.
Sure.
But lots of fall traditions, many of which, of course, do involve movies, series, etc. Whether that's you binge watching all your favorite Halloween decom movies, like Halloween Town and Hocus Pocus, or you actually go the scary movie route. You actually sit down and for some reason go through all of the seasons of American Horror Story, which, why? That's a lot. Are you okay? But one thing that I will say, I do see out there a lot as a movie marathon topic of choice, but I feel like doesn't always get the, like, complete recognition of the season. I feel like it's always just sort of sidebarred because it's like, oh, it's a kid's cartoon. They're all like, what, 20, 15 minutes? Yeah, it's spooky. It's about mystery. No. How dare you insult the Scooby-verse as such? So, especially when it comes to Scooby-Doo movies. Because, oh man, for a cheap cartoon that Hanna-Barbera started in the 60s, it became like an absolute empire for them that suddenly, after all, like, this period of just, like, we're doing new things with the series every time, and maybe we have some, like, specials for it, like, maybe we do some one-off, like, sidebar, kind of, like, television special kind of things. By the late 90s, Cartoon Network, Hanna-Barbera went, you know what? Fuck it. We ball. Let's make, like, movies for this series. Are they still, like, kind of B tier in, like, animation quality on the whole? Yeah, but that is what makes them delightfully charming, at least in my opinion. So the sort of main four that kick it off: Scooby-Doo, Zombie Island, The Witch's Ghost, Scooby-Doo Cyber Chase, and The Alien Invasion. Those were sort of the, like, straight to VHS, like, which again for Scooby-Doo was a, like, hey, it's not like, this is not just seen on television. This is not a collection of episodes. This is a whole movie that you can own and put in your VCR again and again and again and again and wear the tape down and then buy it again.
If you were between the ages of, like, 4 and 10 in the year 2000, these are gospel to you. And
they
I
truly
was one
are.
of those people.
Absolutely, me too. I watched Alien Invaders all the time.
Cyber Chase, I can't even begin to tell you how many times I watched that.
Oh, it's so good. The baseball reveal is so good.
Ah.
You know, as gospel, as they are the word of our lords Hanna and Barbera, spoken through Scooby-Doo. I kind of thought it'd be a little fun to try to see if you're unable to sit down on a couch for 3 days in a row and binge through every Scooby-Doo movie, because it is also more than just these four now. We have had our live action stints, as well as several other. They were not for, like, VHS and home media. Immediately, they did kind of fall back to the movie for television kind of stuff. But several other Scooby-Doo movies, both, like, especially spooky for seasonal needs or featuring various WWE stars or Kiss.
John Cena's here.
Yeah, you got me on a lot of them, actually, about why those are choices that were made, but they are.
Sidebar, apparently the Kiss one is good.
Yeah,
like, really
actually,
good.
yes.
We just needed to mention that real quick.
So in the spirit of the season, everyone has brought forth to the Coliseum, to the battleground, a different movie to defend. That is going to be the question of, if you could only watch one of them for the Halloween season, which Scooby movie do you do? That was bad even for me.
It's fucking stupid. Fuck you.
So the contenders entering the arena. We have, in Kaylie's corner, you know her, you love her, she's good for all you literary nerds and goths, The Witch's Ghost.
Oh, are we supposed to audience it? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can. Yeah. In Gibby's corner, coming in at a whopping 2 things that have instilled new long-standing fears into my soul based on how creepy they were animated. as well as bringing us down to the good old bayous of Louisiana. Give it up for Zombie Island.
Great audio.
And last but certainly not least, because it has been memed to death, every screenshot, every frame of this film tells us 1,000 words, and some of them you really wish it did not. The live-action cult classic horror abomination that is Scooby-Doo Mystery Island.
Is that what it's called? It's called Scooby-Doo the movie.
Okay, everybody calls it Mystery Island.
They're wrong.
Though,
It's just called Scooby-Doo.
Because then we get Monsters Unleashed. Okay.
Yeah. Put respect on that shit's name.
First of all, this announcer's very biased in that, like, you're just like, yes, my movie's the best, and then just
unfortunately,
like,
that's what I'm doing here. I have to shell. Shill is
the word you're looking for.
And then second of all, this arena that you've described as a triangle, I just want to make mention of that.
You could put a triangle.
You can fight in
a
a triangle.
Yeah.
Or it could be an octagon. There could be 8 corners.
Yeah,
Ooh.
but that's just
dumbass. Stop trying to geometry people.
I think a hexagon works better, personally.
Sure, who cares? It could still be a square. It could be a ring.
Our criteria are going to be, like, is it a good movie standalone? Is it a good Scooby-Doo movie?
Yep.
And is it a good Halloween movie?
Gibby, you go first.
Can you answer all 3 of those questions confidently?
God, yes, I can. I just watched this movie recently, and I'm ready to absolutely destroy you two in this triple threat match.
Oh, shit.
Scooby-Doo Zombie Island is the best Scooby-Doo movie.
And it's terror time again. They've got you running through the night. It's terror.
Just a quick synopsis. They go to New Orleans after taking a long hiatus from the mystery stuff, because every time they solve a mystery, it's just some real estate guy in a mask. And that just gets boring after a time. No, Daphne, she's ambitious. She wants more. So she and Fred get the gang back together because they want to go to an actual haunted house.
For one last heist.
So where do they go? The scariest place in America.
Louisiana.
The South!
As per ghost tour murder shows that are available, New Orleans, which that's immediately in my book, like, point to the Halloween column. New Orleans is the most underrated Halloween spot in
Objection.
America.
Savannah.
Nope. Don't care.
Georgia?
Don't care at
Yes.
all. Anyways, they find themselves upon an island in the middle of the Louisiana bayou, and strange things start happening. But Fred, ever the skeptic, doesn't believe it. He says, it's just some guy in a costume. It has to be. It always is. But that's the twist, dear listeners. For once, and one time only, except for the Wacky Racers episode with Dracula, who gives a fuck, the monsters are real in this one. Fred even tries to unmask a zombie that's risen from the bayou swamps and tears its goddamn head off.
Okay.
Yeah, we do get some nice, like, Fred appreciation in this one. I will give you that point.
Not only that, we're also dealing with some sort of ancient cat god that has given powers to these 300-year-old bayou women. Look, you're going to talk a lot, Kaylie, about the goth gals, and that's great. Goth gals are so 2018. No.
Wow.
The future is spooky Cajun cat girls, and I will hear no argument as per that. But let's break it down real quick.
We're breaking it down.
As a standalone movie, it works quite well because it's a great setup. You've got spooky atmosphere, great backgrounds that they draw. I love how big and bright the moon is against all of the will-o-wisps and all of the swampy set pieces. You've got just this immaculate atmosphere that most Scooby-Doo movies fail to capture. Most of them, they just put you in a castle. And oh, there's a suit of armor that chops down with a halberd. Wow, haven't seen that one before. Nah. This is spooky in a way that only Louisiana can be. If you've ever been in the deep south, especially near the swamp late at night, you know exactly what I'm fucking talking about.
Strange things
right
live
here.
out there. We don't speak of them.
Exactly. But you have it so that it is a complete mystery from beginning to end. No stones left unturned. Every element that they introduce earlier in the movie is then completed, whether it be character arcs or whether it be MacGuffins that are introduced earlier. Clean as a sheet, taken care of.
Sure.
Let's talk about this as a Scooby-Doo movie, because there are some particular structure notes that I have, of which this movie is loyal to and also deviates from a little bit.
Whoa.
I know. Every Scooby-Doo movie and show, you have to be introduced to a colorful cast of one-off characters, one of which you believe is the actual criminal posing as a monster, but it turns out they were a red herring the whole time. For one Scooby-Doo series, there was just a kid named Red Herring.
Red herring.
Why his parents did that to him, I will never know. But I digress.
For the lols.
You're also brought in with some spooky, mysterious people for exposition as well as for villainy. That is their purpose. Additionally, you're going to have slapstick humor. And this one has pretty decent slapstick humor. Was there maybe one too many bowling ball sound effects? Sure. But also Shaggy and Scooby are gods of chaos, and they do what they do. But where it changes things up a little bit is that not just having the monsters be real, but the fact that it's scarier than most any other Scooby-Doo property that I could even possibly think of. The way that the monster designs are created, the way that you have these zombies emerging from the muck and the mud and the holes in the ground, it tonally feels like the next step of where Scooby-Doo would be going. If it's going from like a child to kind of a like preteen audience, this is that step. And for me as a kid watching this is what I wanted. I wanted to be a little bit scared, because that's the joy of Halloween, to have that little bit of fear that starts to creep into the back of your head, to think, I thought I knew what was going on, but I have less control than I thought I did. That is what you get out of these lurching corpses of the undead, especially with the transformation sequences, which they put the most of the animation budget into.
Yeah. I was about to say, those cat women get so much of that budget.
Don't like that sentence.
And not only that, with the villains being defeated, in what other Scooby-Doo property would you see the villains having their skin disintegrated a la Raiders of the Lost Ark and turned into skeletons only to collapse upon the ground, of which they then do with the zombies as well. These are the things that, as an 11-year-old, would have made me check under the bed and the closet, just in case there happened to be spooky Cajun cat girls.
I will say, like, I was not lying when I was like, there were two, like, frames of that movie that, like, scarred me as far as just, like, jump scare. And it was the, like, zombies, like, the kind of horde emerging out of the swamp.
Yep.
Coming to the camera. Because I'm like, I live in Florida. There's swamp water here fucking everywhere. Are there zombies here? Am I going to die? That shot. And then, yeah, the like, scary werewolf transformation, like snarl face of the cat women. It was like, ah.
Of which I will say, as our third piece of criteria, this also succeeds as a Halloween movie. Now, as I said, New Orleans is not traditionally what you may think of first when you think of Halloween. You'll probably think of Salem, for instance, first. But you have that spooky undertone that I really, really like. I just love everything about it, from the classic horror movie zombies to something new and occult. How often do you actually get the occult in Scooby-Doo? That is good Halloween shit right there. It's just scary enough for young audiences and so enjoyable for the Halloween loving adults like us. I win. You can all go home. That's 3 for 3, baby.
Hold your horses right there, partner.
My counterpoint.
Uh-huh.
Mr. Gibson.
As I'm called to the stand.
Gibby, on the stand.
Why do you support the Confederacy?
Yo!
I knew this would come up.
Did you?
I did. Because some of the zombies...
You've been in this situation before?
We are from the South, Kaylie.
Ah, shit.
And I will say this.
Uh-huh.
There are Confederates in this movie.
The Confederates did nothing wrong.
Jesus Christ.
Bodio, no!
But their presence as zombies
God.
mean that they were Confederates that got tortured by occult Cajun cat girls. And
Good.
frankly, I think that kind of makes up for it. Because really, isn't this what John Brown would want? To make Confederates suffer?
Fair.
Oh, way down south in the land of traitors, rattlesnakes and alligators, right away.
Right away.
Right away.
Right away.
See, that
Right
song is about
away.
this
Right
movie.
We're going down to Dixie, cat girls. Cat girls. my other counterpoint is Fred has no ascot.
Mm-hmm.
Fred almost puts the ascot back on.
Not a Scooby-Doo property if Fred has no ascot.
Unfortunately, Icarus flew too close to the sun at that moment, and it got a little melty, kind of like when the voodoo dolls got a little bit too close to the torch. But it's fine.
Oh yeah,
That's fine.
It's
It's
fine. It's a Millennium
It's a sin.
Scooby-Doo thing.
it's Fred with no orange accent. My man has a brand. Also, cameraman Fred. Ew.
Remember when that like opening monster tears into like the back of his like
Yes.
jacket?
Yes.
You can see that like the blue collar that he's got is like his entire torso. So
He's just wearing a jumpsuit.
It's
Yeah.
very fun.
it's very funny. But he still has the ascot in at that point. He tried something new. It didn't work. I can't fault him for it. You can, though, because you're opposed to me.
Ah.
All right, Kaylee, go in.
With counterpoints or with my
With
spiel?
yours, we've gone over Gibby's
Okay.
Gibby's favor a little. The accusations a little sprinkled in racism, intentional or otherwise, and 0 out of 10 fit.
Well, my counterpoint is just gonna be, you're wrong, because it was the first of the 4, and it holds water very, very well. It is a good movie, but we only perfected the Halloweenification with Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost.
I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm gonna put a spell on you. I'm a hex girl, and I'm gonna put a spell on you. Put a spell on you.
Already, we're starting on a fun, spooky vibe. There's a witch here. You know that means Halloween. That's the only time of year we have witches around. Clearly, no other times of the year ever at all.
Who are you attacking?
I'm not. I just think I will say, I think this movie did tap in to like something, again, for folks in our age range.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is like, this movie should be rewarded and awarded first place, because I think this is one of those turning points for not only making so many young boys realize they were into goth girls, but also so many of those young girls realizing not only could I be goth, but I could also be a little witchy. And not like I'm gonna boil children in a cauldron, but like practice like healing and spiritual practices that are good for the mind, body, and soul.
Sure.
with shiny rocks.
Also, they could also be into those goth girls.
Absolutely, they could. Everyone is. They're the Hex Girls. I'm getting ahead of myself, though. They're just so good.
It's the window dressing.
So, yes, Scooby-Doo and the Witch's Ghost. The gang is back together. I'm assuming there has kind of been a weird sort of chronology of these kind of 4 movies, but the gang's back together. They're actively, we open on them solving a mystery in a museum and getting already some points into some wacky Scooby-Doo hijinks, you know? They're running from the baddies that are Viking skeletons and getting into shenanigans on all the museum exhibits. Your lovely, your Scooby-Doo theme song in The Witch's Ghost is sung by Billy Ray Cyrus. So already some like fun,
All right, so that's already 1 point against you.
Wow.
Yeah, I had Terror Time in my movie. I didn't even have to bring that up. You've got fucking Billy Ray Cyrus.
We've
as
got
the
Billy Ray
albatross
Cyrus
across your neck.
and the Hex Girls. Do I have to spell it out?
They balance out.
But we have our museum chase. We catch the baddies, and oh, who is this here helping us? Ben Crawford, I think you mean Tim Curry, as our special guest character of this movie. He's a writer. He's a horror writer. Velma loves his books, and he might, be a little flirty back with her. This is one of the few moments where it's that, like, I think in all of Scooby-Doo history up until that moment, Velma's never had the, like, I'm attracted to another character-ness about her that, like, Daphne gets a little flirtatious. Fred gets a little flirtatious. Shaggy every so once in a while. But, like, Velma's never really had that as a character moment, that this movie's, like, a fun new, wow, okay. We're getting, like, the Scooby-Doo-ness is definitely through all of this, and now we're also doing something different and something exciting. But they get to small talking. He's such a fan of theirs, she's such a fan of his, that he goes, well, why don't you come with me to my little hometown for our fall festival, for the turning of the leaves? So yeah, we're in New England, but you know what? New England during the fall is very Halloween-y. Why do you think all of the best, like, contemporary, accessible Halloween movies for young and older audiences all happen in Massachusetts and Connecticut? Because it's pretty. The leaves are orange. It is beautiful, and there is pumpkin pie that matches. So, I'm headcanoning this, that as they're driving through the scenic Connecticut-esque countryside, and we see all the little buildings.
Hold on. You can't headcanon shit.
We're getting like a little Beetlejuice reference. We see a red-sided covered bridge that I'm like, oh, this has definitely got to be a Beetlejuice reference here.
Judge, strike that from the record.
Overruled. I like Beetlejuice.
Keep going.
So they arrive in this little town. It's again, gorgeous little New England town. We do the Scooby-Doo things. We meet the mayor. We meet this other guy that's a leader in the town. We meet the restaurant owner. We meet characters. But they're also like, why are there so many people here? Oh, didn't you know? The witch's ghost just sort of showed up and scared people, and now we have t-shirts. Ben goes through a whole backstory of how his ancestor was Sarah Ravencroft. She was a Wiccan. She was a spiritual woman. She was a healer, but everyone called her a witch. Oh, why are things happening here? Did we disturb the grave? We get a lot of good Scooby-Doo cast being able to call out their own tropes, which is really fun about this movie, is we're getting the Scooby-Doo-ness, and I think it's also able to really be a nice little standalone movie because of that. We're not depending on those tropes, but we are playing at some of the base ones and then being able to be a little meta with it, and like that is what this movie is as a standalone. Because you know the gist. Scooby Shaggy go off to eat way too much food than humanly possible and horrify the locals. The gang thinks nothing different. They run into the monster. We start putting clues together. We're figuring out what's going on. The gang splits up to go observe what's happening in the town at night, and then we meet the Hex Girls. The crown jewel of this movie. Giving us 2 banger songs in this movie. The Hex Girls, titular song, and Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. Wonderful celebratory end of the movie song, if I do say so myself. But you know them, you've heard them. They're stuck in your head forever. Like, I'm sorry, once you listen to it once, those choruses are very catchy.
Admittedly, yes.
we're meeting the folks and trying to figure out what's going on. They look like witches. Are they actually witches? But that mayor's awful suspicious. Why is he hiding a cherry picker in this barn? What's going on here? We regroup. Velma and Ben Crawford are a little more flirty. They both bump into each other, and they both can't see without their glasses. And we have these cute little moments of meet cuteness between these two people that are obsessed with scary things and murder. Until, finally, Velma cracks the code, and the witch that has been pursuing them all along was nothing more than a man disguised as a witch shooting fireballs with pyrotechnics, and wow, what a twist. It's the same thing again, except it's not for any real estate, like, self-gain reason, because they find out it is the whole town putting this whole hoax together to boost tourism. So yes, it's still Scooby-Doo being driven by capitalistic means, but what are you going to do? Arrest an entire town
Yes.
for playing up the lore and legend of a local, like, phenomenon?
It's a town of liars. Arrest them.
And so we wrap things up as we typically do, Wow, we solved the mystery, gang, except they go back and look for this book that's supposed to prove Sarah Ravencroft was a Wiccan, not a witch. And we get such a good turncoat moment out of this movie. The book that has been mentioned ad nauseum is uncovered in the old Puritan village, the colonial Williamsburg insert for this movie. And wouldn't you know, we open the chest the book is in, it's got a big frickin' skull on the cover. Sarah Ravencroft was abso-frickin-lutely a witch, and Ben is a warlock. Turncoat villain, Velma's heart is broken, we are all shocked. Tim Curry gets to laugh evilly, and we all erupt in applause. So this one also as well, I will fight you on the Zombie Island's the only one. Witch's Curse has real fucking occult shit that happens. A ghost of a powerful witch is summoned out of a book. She casts hellfire down on things, animates trees, pumpkins, and turns one turkey into a giant turkey the size of a house, and generally causes chaos as they all go, "Oh my god! I did not expect there to really be a witch." But, of course, we save the day. We find our one special hex girl who's actually part Wiccan to seal Sarah Ravencroft away. All's well that ends well. Ironically, the author ends up trapped in a book for the rest of his existence as well. We get some good one-liners. We get some good Scooby-Doo one-liners in this one. One of those being the last Ben Ravencroft book and no one will ever get to buy it. There's a lot of really clever little those just good Scooby-Doo one-liners at the end of this one. And we get, of course, another Hex Girl song to celebrate and play us out. So it's witchy, spooky, and all the things that make Halloween. There's pumpkins, there's pointy hats, and witches, of course, and the colors of fall that already add to the we should be watching this seasonally for Halloween. On top of all of my various points of it stands alone as a deconstruction of Scooby-Doo movies while also being a Scooby-Doo movie. Thank you, Your Honor. I yield my time.
I'll do counterpoints first this time. Counterpoint, horny posting.
I mean, okay, if
How many people would remember this movie if it didn't make them horny?
I think the Hex Girls did do something to this movie because
I don't disagree.
Scooby churns butter at one point in the Puritan village, and I went, "Oh, who animated this? How long did they stare at this hand placement? Did you notice? Hello?" As well as a very uncomfortable joke about basting a giant turkey that's a little too suggestive for my taste.
Second counterpoint, still no ascot on my man. 0 out of 10 fit.
But if I do remember, he does have like some amount of like orange contrast on his person. I know it's not the ascot.
This is white vest era Fred.
Yeah, no, like they
Which
did
is
something different with his
bullshit.
look. Yeah, but they
My
put
man
him in
is orange, blue, white, golden hair. They're is a structure to this. We stand for it.
Okay, but can I counter that counter? Daphne's like skirt suit with the jacket, still
No!
killing it.
Fair.
The man
no.
came for Fred, Kaylie. It's why
Always.
the people show
I
up.
know.
Gets
That
the
is
people
true.
going.
That is true. I cannot
Gibby, go
deny.
for it.
Hey, Kaylie, what's it like having to rely on a celebrity to be able to hold your movie up?
Damn.
Wow. You think he's what's
Whoa.
holding that movie together?
Shit.
He's enhancing the experience.
I'm just saying, my movie didn't require a celebrity cameo in order to succeed.
Mark Hamill's in your movie.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill's not in my movie.
Yes, he is.
Yes.
Mark Hamill enhances the experience. My celebrity is in a collective 2 minutes of the movie. Yours is the villain.
Oh, my
Yes,
ribs.
because what are you going to do if you're going to ask Tim Curry to come in and do a Scooby-Doo movie? I feel like you're obligated to give him a villain's part at that point. Because
man.
otherwise that's a waste. That's a waste of an evil laugh. I mean, it's kind of a shame that Mark Hamill's only in it for 2 minutes as well. But especially if you're getting Tim Curry to come in and do that.
Let's take a quick recess for about 2.5 weeks for me to recover. Furthermore, Your Honor, this movie is horny on Maine. We rest our case. against it.
And we should acknowledge, Your Honor, that cringe is dead, and we should be allowed to be horny on Maine respectfully.
Strike that from the record.
It's struck from the record.
I do not stand by.
Now I'm just a simple Scooby-Doo lawyer.
I can't be the judge and the lawyer.
I can be anything I want. It's my imagination, and you can't stop me.
Barbie girl, be who you wanna be.
Oh, there's too much. All right.
All
Is it
right.
my turn?
All right, tough guy.
May I?
Why don't you give us your movie?
So we've had our two animated features going up against each other. What do you got
hell
here with your
yeah.
live action real people?
So listen here, we've talked a lot of stuff about classic Scooby-Doo and what that may or may not be. Here's the thing, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
You want to really mix up a formula? You really want to get in there? You change the medium entirely.
Shit.
You pay some folks, you put their faces on screen, and you tell them, yo, do the thing.
Acting?
Scooby-Doo, 2002. No whatever bullshit Kaylee said earlier.
Okay.
It's
Sure.
called Scooby-Doo. One word, hyphenated.
Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We got some things to do now. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? We need some help from you now.
Come in. First off, this movie predicted the future. Y'all ever heard of Firefest, whatever it's called? Fire Island? There it is. We did it first.
Oh,
2002. Fuck with me.
that actually was like 15 years before.
Hell yeah, it was, man. We saw it coming. The vision.
The prophet
we weren't wise enough to
Scooby-Doo.
listen.
The prophet. Number 2. Y'all know who wrote the screenplay? Y'all know? Do you?
Yeah,
Do you-
James
do you
Gunn.
Really? One
It is James Gunn.
James Gunn.
Yeah.
And we're firing with 2 of them, bro. Both hands. Like the 2 ends in his name.
James, calm down, please.
No, he can't. He's an
He
animal.
can't. God.
The man is always locked in. This movie is it's a fucking classic, man. We take the titular Scooby-Doo characters and honestly cast them as close to perfectly as we can. You know, we got Sarah Michelle Gellar, we got Matthew Lillard, we got Freddie Prinze Jr. His name is the same. We got Linda Cardellini. All of them play their roles beautifully. All of them play each other's roles beautifully. That's how deep this shit goes, bro.
This is some method.
You want to
shit
talk
right
about
here.
star power? We got Ela Fisher. Isla. I don't know how to pronounce
Isla?
her name. She's fucking Isla. I don't know how to pronounce her name. She's fucking great. We got Rowan Atkinson.
Mm-hmm.
We got Mark McGrath. We got Pam Anderson in the opening, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I did
That's
forget about
crazy.
that.
Yeah.
we want to let's do story progression. Everybody, we've all said, "Oh, we expound on the story. The gang gets back together." Do y'all know what real plot development is?
The gang splitting apart.
You see them split up. You see them solve a mystery. Then you see them come back after 2 years. Two of them. Go on one more ride, brought together for 10 G's each. And they learn how to bond.
Is that
They
all
learn
it
how to
took in
rely
the
on each
early
other.
2000s?
That's all it took. Hey, that's like 1999 money. That is
Yeah.
cash.
That's cash money right there.
We go college. Y'all, the soundtrack?
Yeah.
The soundtrack? College Rock? Outcast? Featuring Killer Mike on the
Pass
single?
the touchy on the left hand side. Pass the touchy
Brother,
on the
It's true.
left
We
side.
don't have that in our movie.
No, we
Even-
couldn't
we even-
afford the licensing with our two movies.
We've already gone through the cast. We got Mary Jane. We got Mondavarius, Rowan Atkinson. Sidebar, we got a villain who's so devious that even what's his name? Fuck.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. Thank you for helping my case. We got a villain so devious even Tim Curry didn't want part of this joint, bro. Once Scrapper do.
Yeah,
Scrappy Doo.
exactly.
I
That's my
Exactly what
first counter to you right
what
there. You brought
every
this abomination in
what
again.
Every Scooby-Doo fan wants to see. Everybody wants to see him lose. We got that.
I just don't want to see
We
him.
got you. You want to see him get kicked in the head? We got you.
we got
You want to see him get thrown out of a van? Brother, it's in HD. Man, this movie is just fun. Honestly, like it does have like the right amount of plot progression and the right amount of character development without trying to do something different, right?
Mhm.
It doesn't try too hard. It knows what it is, and it knows what it's trying to be. The coolest thing about this movie is just how it comes together and how like strangely magical it is, because Scooby-Doo is something that you don't think would be able to translate over to live action. I love how they acknowledge one of the big questions I've always had in Scooby-Doo is, hey, do people actually understand the dog, or is he just saying stuff? Other characters talk to Scooby directly to Scooby and respond to what he's saying. They say, yes, the dog talks because that's what's more fun. You know what I mean? It's not the dog talks, and it's not a Courage the Cowardly Dogs thing. It's not the dog talks, but not actually. It's like, no, Scooby speaks vocally. People understand that Scooby is a cartoon character, and we're all chill with it.
He's competent to the point at which he can be dressed up as a grandma and put on an airplane, and nobody questions it.
And everybody's cool with it.
Yeah.
And when he flips his shit, they're like, he's already here. What are we going to do? He's a Great Dane.
This
We're not
is a
gonna throw him off.
post 9/11 movie after TSA went crazy, and Scooby-Doo is just hitting the plane with no problem.
He's
chilling.
Listen, I called us out earlier on the Confederates. We got a little light racism in here. It's cool. We got you. We're okay with it.
It's 2002.
One Sam Greco, an Australian man, playing a luchador.
Oh,
Mhm.
I thought
And
you
he
were
doesn't
going
do
to
that bad.
mention the ghost that looks like he's a member of the Klan, but go on.
That too.
No, he's a clown. It's fine. It's fine.
Aren't
we have
they
a little,
all?
We have a little bit of voodoo, but it's done by a comedian. So
Okay, sure.
don't look into it, dude. Don't look into it, dude. Too deep. I sincerely love this movie.
There's a big disco ball that's a skull, so you get a point
It's
for
so
that.
cool. We want a horny post. Everybody gets a partner in this one. Velma gets a dude with a whack mustache and a Led Zeppelin shirt. Fraggy? Shaggy gets Mary Jane. Fred and Daphne canonically, not implied. None of that shit. They kiss at the end. It's what, after we kick Scrappy-Doo in the face, a couple gets together. It's what we've always wanted. Ladies and gentlemen in the court, I rest my case.
Okay.
We're going to strike Fraggy from the record real quick. As there has to be a better couple name on AO3 within the fan fiction universe. We'll table that for now.
I would like to suggest either Dread or Frafney, Your Honor.
Ooh, I like Dread. It's ominous. Oh, actually, one more point. Who watches Scooby-Doo to be scared? Who watches Scooby-Doo to be scared? Y'all's movies are scary as hell. Mostly
Well,
Gibby's.
yeah.
Kaylee's yours is
But-
fine.
You want to put something on for everybody.
Mine has the proper amount of frights. It's 2002 CG, so it's not. You get a look. It's not that.
It is scary.
It's scary when you're 9. What I watched. How old was I? Yeah, it was scary when you're 9.
Mm.
When you're 31, it's fun. It's a nice little callback. It's a treat.
It's a treat. Some uncomfy CGI is a little treat.
Right.
Now, sir, you've done a fine job as to explaining why this is an enjoyable movie
Mhm.
and an enjoyable Scooby-Doo movie.
Mm-hmm.
But you failed to elaborate upon why this is a good Halloween movie.
Mm.
Why do I have to?
Because that's the criteria.
It's self-evident, man.
It's-
No.
View.
No. Get out of my courthouse.
Leave my contact. My last point is Matthew Lillard is on a music video with Outkast. That's good for all seasons.
Excellent point. Yes, indeed.
I'll give him the extension that Matthew Lillard is also in a fantastic Halloween franchise as it is.
Mm-hmm.
Matthew Lillard is good in all seasons. Matthew
Yes.
Lillard, certified crispy. Despite our differences today, I think we can all agree upon that.
Yes.
True.
I was waiting for you to actually say Scream so that I could go, no, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh, bleh. Anyways.
Don't set yourself up for a bad joke.
What if I want to?
Don't.
I would like to bring up a little bit of evidence to the court,
Yes. Yes.
though, in that we have a 32% on Rotten Tomatoes,
So.
a 35% on Metacritic,
Mm.
and a 1 star out of 4 review from the preeminent film scholar of the American people, Roger Ebert.
I didn't realize we were consigning to corporate America in this courthouse.
Roger Ebert never gave a 1 star review to Zombie Island, I'll tell you that right
Did
there.
he review it at all?
Maybe.
Maybe.
You weren't there, you can't tell me. You were just trying to do empirical falsehoods a moment ago. I will bring this up and say, if we are considering her movie to be too horny, then what can be said about a movie which, and I quote, the cleavage had to be removed using CGI?
Yeah, I was about to say.
Too horny. I'm getting the bat.
Everybody in it is in college. What do you expect?
I am getting the bat. Prepare yourself for horny jail. You're never getting out of there.
Horny jail, horny jail.
Bring it on. Yours has scantily clad cat girls. I don't want to hear it.
Filibuster.
Okay, let's say that at the end of the day, all of us have a little something to be
No.
horny about when you're.
Half of your argument was horny.
Yeah, we all have a little something different. When you're terrified, there are only a few immediate responses that the brain is aware of, and if you wanna give them a razzle dazzle, who am I to say no?
Fear and horny are not that different to your brain.
They really aren't.
And that's what we learned from Scooby-Doo? That's the consensus we come to?
For a show that has continued in various forms for going on 40 years? No, more than that now. 50 almost.
Oh, honey.
Yeah.
It's been since the 60s.
I know, I'm trying to do
We're
math.
talking
I'm
like
bad
60
at it.
years of
It's like 60
Scooby-Doo.
years.
Yeah, it's oh my god, yeah,
Nearly.
you're right. It's nearly 60 years of Scooby-Doo.
Mhm.
Yeah, 1969. Ha! Nice.
Okay, come on.
Hey, that's just
Come
not fair.
on.
The game was rigged from the start.
That has been this episode of the Liberal Artist Podcast.
You thought we would pick a winner? Fools. You have to do that.
Yeah, let
So
us,
that you
let us
engage
know.
with us. Tell us what you think, please.
Follow us on YouTube, Liberal Artist Podcast, on Instagram at LibArtistPod. Join us next time when we design branded ass. No, that's fuck.
He gave it up. He didn't even go through it.
I can't.
Brr, 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 brr.
Peace.
The Liberal Artists Podcast premieres every other Thursday on your favorite podcasting platform. The show is hosted by Bodio, Kaylie Horowitz, and Andy Gibson. You can find the show at Liberal Artists Pod on Instagram and Twitter. Thanks to White Hot for performing the theme song Reflect, which can be found on freebeats.io. Now, I'm off to go exploring, and maybe, just maybe, I'll find a sheep that I can call my own. Good day.
Also, clearly the best Scooby-Doo property is the one
Blue
where...
Falcon.
Oh, fuck you. I'm stopping. Forget anything else I was saying. I'm out. I'm out.
Aw.
I'm going to California.
We welcome you with open arms.
Appreciate it.
And Blue Falcon.
Fuck off.
God.